In a quiet suburb of Portland, Oregon, life flowed peacefully and predictably. However, on June 15, 2023, the usual order was disrupted by shocking news. 28-year-old Rachel Thompson was found dead in her home. The news of the death of the young woman, known for her charitable work and engagement to a rising star in local politics, quickly spread throughout the city. The police immediately launched an investigation, which soon uncovered a web of lies, betrayal, and hidden motives involving those closest to the victim. Rachel Thompson grew up in Portland in a middle-class family. From a young age, she showed an interest in community service and helping others. After graduating from the University of Oregon with a degree in social work, Rachel began working at a local center for victims of domestic violence. Her colleagues described her as compassionate and hardworking, always ready to listen and help. In 2021, Rachel met Max Elliott at a charity event. Max, a 32-year-old assistant to the mayor of Portland, immediately caught Rachel's attention with his charisma and ambition. Their relationship developed quickly, and within a year, Max proposed to Rachel. The engagement was enthusiastically welcomed within their social circle, with many seeing the potential for a future political power couple. Anna Clark had been Rachel's best friend since elementary school. Growing up in the same neighborhood, the two had been inseparable for many years. Anna worked as a lawyer for a large corporation, specializing in labor law. Despite her busy schedule, she always found time for Rachel. Their friendship seemed unbreakable, and Anna was the first person Rachel told about her engagement to Max. On the surface, the trio's life seemed perfect. Rachel and Max were planning their wedding, and Anna was chosen to be the maid of honor. However, behind the facade of happy relationships and strong friendships, secrets were brewing that would soon come to light in the most tragic way. At the beginning of 2023, Rachel's colleagues noticed a change in her behavior. Normally cheerful and energetic, she had become more withdrawn and distracted. Some attributed it to the stress of planning the wedding, but close friends sensed there was something more serious going on. Rachel frequently canceled plans at the last minute and seemed constantly tense. Max, meanwhile, was staying late at work more often, citing important projects and meetings. His political career was gaining momentum, and he was being considered as a potential candidate for a seat on the Portland City Council. Max's public appearances were becoming more frequent, and Rachel often attended these events as his supportive fiancée. Despite her busy schedule, Anna tried to be there for Rachel. She organized bridal showers and helped with wedding preparations. However, some mutual acquaintances noticed a strange tension between the friends, something that had never been there before. A week before the tragedy, Rachel, Max, and Anna were seen together at a charity gala. Witnesses noted that the atmosphere between them was tense. Rachel seemed upset and left the event early, leaving Max and Anna alone. This episode became the subject of intense speculation after Rachel's body was discovered. By the time of the tragedy, all three of the main individuals involved were in a complicated emotional state, hiding their true feelings and motives from those around them. Rachel's death became the catalyst that brought all the hidden conflicts and secrets to the surface, forever changing the lives of Max and Anna. On June 15, 2023, at 7:43 a.m., Portland police received a call from Rachel Thompson's concerned neighbor, Martha Jenkins. She reported hearing a loud noise from Rachel's house the previous evening and noticed the front door was slightly open in the morning, which was unusual for the meticulous Rachel. Patrol officers John Martinez and Sarah Chun arrived at the scene at 7:55 a.m. Cautiously entering the home, they found Rachel Thompson's body in the living room. The victim was lying face down, and signs of a struggle were evident on the floor. A preliminary examination revealed multiple stab wounds to her back and neck. Homicide detectives Michael Rodriguez and Emily Wu arrived at the crime scene at 8:30 a.m. They immediately began coordinating with forensic specialists and interviewing neighbors. Rachel's home was cordoned off, and a thorough collection of evidence began. Forensic specialists found blood not only in the living room but also in the kitchen. The murder weapon, a kitchen knife, was found in the sink. Fingerprints on the knife belonged to the victim, indicating that Rachel might have tried to defend herself. During the house search, detectives noticed a few key details. First, there were 2 wine glasses with remnants of red wine on the coffee table in the living room, suggesting that Rachel had a guest shortly before her death. Second, scattered on the bedroom floor were photos of Rachel and Max, some of which were torn. Interviews with neighbors produced conflicting reports. Martha Jenkins confirmed hearing a loud argument around 10:30 p.m. the previous night but couldn't make out the words or identify the voices. Another neighbor, James Patterson, reported seeing a car leave Rachel's house around 11:15 p.m. but couldn't describe the make or color of the vehicle. Detective Rodriguez contacted the victim's fiancé, Max Elliott, at 9:45 a.m. Max seemed shocked by the news and immediately stated that he had been at a political event the previous evening until late. He agreed to come to the police station to give a statement. Meanwhile, Detective Wu examined Rachel's phone, which was found at the crime scene. The last calls and messages were from Anna Clark, Rachel's best friend. The messages indicated that Anna was planning to visit Rachel on the evening of June 14th. By noon, the preliminary coroner's report estimated the time of death to be between 10 p.m. and midnight the previous evening. The cause of death was blood loss due to multiple stab wounds. There were no signs of sexual assault. Detectives Rodriguez and Wu began compiling a list of suspects and witnesses to be questioned. At the top of the list were Max Elliott and Anna Clark, as they were the closest people to the victim and had potential access to her on the night of the murder. By the end of the day, the Portland police made a brief statement to the press, confirming Rachel Thompson's murder and urging the public to assist in the investigation. The news quickly spread through local media, shocking and baffling the community, who knew Rachel as a kind and compassionate woman. As detectives Rodriguez and Wu analyzed the information gathered throughout the day, they concluded that the murder was likely committed by someone close to the victim. The lack of forced entry and the presence of 2 wine glasses indicated that Rachel had willingly let the killer into her home. The following day, June 16th, interrogations of Max Elliott and Anna Clark were scheduled. Detectives hoped these conversations would shed light on the events leading up to Rachel Thompson's tragic death and potentially lead to the resolution of this shocking crime. On the morning of June 16, 2023, at 9 a.m., detectives Rodriguez and Wu began questioning Max Elliott at the Portland police station. Max appeared exhausted and nervous. He confirmed his alibi, stating that on the evening of June 14th, he had attended a political meeting related to his upcoming city council campaign. Max provided a list of attendees who could confirm his presence from 8 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. However, upon further questioning, it was revealed that Max didn't go straight home after the meeting. He admitted that he had stopped by a bar to clear his head after a stressful evening. Max claimed he returned home around 1 a.m. on June 15th and noticed that Rachel wasn't answering his calls or texts. He assumed she was already asleep and didn't want to disturb her. The detectives noticed a contradiction. If Max had indeed returned home at 1 a.m., he would have found Rachel's body. Max became nervous and changed his story, stating that he didn't actually go into the house but spent the night in his office, working on a speech for an upcoming debate. At 11:30 a.m., the questioning of Anna Clark began. She confirmed that she had indeed planned to meet with Rachel on the evening of June 14th but canceled at the last minute due to urgent work. Anna claimed she sent Rachel a message around 9 p.m. canceling the meeting and didn't communicate with her further that evening. Detective Wu, while reviewing Rachel's phone, did not find the message Anna had mentioned. When confronted with this inconsistency, Anna became visibly flustered and started to stumble over her words. After a few more probing questions, she confessed that she had lied and had, in fact, met with Rachel that evening. Anna explained that she arrived at Rachel's house around 10 p.m. They were drinking wine and talking, but the atmosphere was tense. According to Anna, Rachel was upset and accused her of becoming distant. During the conversation, Rachel mentioned that she suspected Max of cheating but didn't know with whom. At this point in the interrogation, Anna suddenly broke down in tears and confessed a shocking truth. She and Max had been secretly seeing each other for months behind Rachel's back. Anna claimed that she had gone to Rachel's house that evening to confess and ask for forgiveness. According to Anna, when she told Rachel the truth, Rachel became furious. A heated argument ensued, during which Rachel grabbed a kitchen knife and threatened Anna. At some point, Rachel, according to Anna, stumbled and accidentally fell on the knife. Anna claimed she tried to administer first aid, but Rachel had lost too much blood. Panicked, Anna fled the house without calling the police or an ambulance. Detectives Rodriguez and Wu were stunned by this confession. They immediately arrested Anna Clark on suspicion of Rachel Thompson's murder. However, many details in her story didn't match the evidence found at the crime scene. Following Anna's interrogation, the detectives called Max Elliott back in. Faced with Anna's confession, Max was forced to admit to their secret affair. He confessed that he had indeed been cheating on Rachel with Anna for the past 4 months. However, Max vehemently denied any involvement in Rachel's murder, insisting that on the night of her death, he had been at the political meeting and then at his office. The detectives checked Max's alibi and found that several attendees of the political meeting confirmed his presence until 11:30 p.m. However, his whereabouts after that time remained unclear. By the end of the day on June 16th, the police had 2 main suspects: Anna Clark, who had admitted to being at the crime scene, and Max Elliott, whose alibi was incomplete. Both had motives, complicated personal relationships with the victim and the desire to keep their affair hidden. Detectives Rodriguez and Wu knew that solving this tangled case would require a thorough analysis of all the evidence and statements. They also realized that the true events leading up to Rachel's death might be even more complex and shocking than they had initially suspected. On June 17, 2023, the investigation into Rachel Thompson's murder entered a new phase. Detectives Rodriguez and Wu focused on analyzing physical evidence and verifying the statements of the primary suspects. Forensic experts completed a preliminary analysis of the crime scene. Fingerprints found on the murder weapon, a kitchen knife, belonged to both Rachel and Anna, confirming Anna's presence at the house on the night of the murder. However, this also raised questions about her involvement in the crime. The blood spatter analysis in the living room did not align with Anna's version of Rachel accidentally falling on the knife. Experts concluded that the blood pattern indicated multiple intentional strikes rather than a single accidental injury. Detective Wu conducted a second interrogation of Anna Clark. Confronted with the discrepancies between her account and the forensic evidence, Anna became confused and changed her story. She now claimed that Rachel had stabbed herself multiple times in a fit of rage after learning about the affair. Meanwhile, Detective Rodriguez was investigating Max Elliott's alibi. Surveillance footage confirmed his presence at the political meeting until 11:30 p.m. However, a camera outside his office building captured Max leaving at 12:15 a.m., contradicting his initial claim that he had spent the entire night there. On June 18th, the police received DNA analysis results from the crime scene. DNA found under Rachel's fingernails matched Anna's, indicating a physical struggle between the 2 women. Detectives also reviewed Anna's financial records and discovered a large cash withdrawal the day before the murder. When questioned about this, Anna failed to provide a convincing explanation. On June 19th, police conducted a search of Anna's apartment. In the trash bin outside her home, they found bloody clothes and gloves. A preliminary analysis confirmed that the blood belonged to Rachel. During another interrogation, Anna admitted to lying in her previous statements. She provided a new version of events. She claimed that she had indeed gone to Rachel's house to confess her affair with Max. The conversation escalated into a heated argument, during which Rachel grabbed a knife. In the struggle for the knife, Anna accidentally stabbed Rachel. Panicked by the situation, she inflicted several more wounds to stage the scene as an attack by an unknown assailant. Detectives Rodriguez and Wu were skeptical of this new version but acknowledged that it aligned more closely with the evidence. They decided to meticulously verify every detail of Anna's story. On June 20th, fiber analysis results came in. Fibers found on Rachel's clothing matched those from Anna's clothes, further solidifying the suspicion that Anna was directly involved in the murder. While continuing to investigate Max Elliott's role, detectives were troubled by the gaps in his alibi. Although his presence at the time of the murder was confirmed, his deception about his whereabouts afterward raised suspicions. Detectives began to suspect that Max might have been involved in planning the murder, even if he wasn't present at the scene. On June 21st, the police obtained a warrant to wiretap Anna and Max's phone conversations. In a call made the day after the murder, Max told Anna, "Stick to your story. Everything will be fine as long as we follow the plan." This conversation heightened suspicions of a conspiracy between Anna and Max. By the end of the week, the evidence strongly pointed to Anna Clark as the direct perpetrator of Rachel's murder. However, Max Elliott's role remained uncertain. Detectives Rodriguez and Wu concluded that Rachel Thompson's murder was likely the result of a complex conspiracy, possibly orchestrated by both lovers. On June 22nd, Anna Clark was officially arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Max Elliott remained under suspicion but was not arrested due to a lack of direct evidence linking him to the crime. The case sent shockwaves through the Portland community. A tale of betrayal, passion, and murder in an upscale suburb became the main topic of local news. Many wondered how a lifelong friendship could have ended in such a horrific crime. On June 23, 2023, the investigation into Rachel Thompson's murder took an unexpected turn. Lisa Martinez, a barista at a coffee shop near Rachel's home, came forward to the Portland police with crucial information about the night of the murder. Lisa told detectives Rodriguez and Wu that on the evening of June 14th, around 9:45 p.m., she saw Max Elliott entering the coffee shop. He looked agitated and ordered a double espresso. Lisa recognized him from local news coverage as Rachel's fiancé and a rising star in local politics. According to Lisa, Max stayed in the shop for about 20 minutes, nervously checking his phone before suddenly leaving in the direction of Rachel's house. This occurred roughly an hour before the estimated time of the murder. This new information directly contradicted Max's earlier statements about his whereabouts that night. Detectives immediately requested surveillance footage from the coffee shop and nearby streets. On June 24th, the police received the video footage, which confirmed Lisa's account. The video clearly showed Max entering the coffee shop at 9:43 p.m. and leaving at 10:05 p.m. Further analysis of street cameras confirmed that Max headed toward Rachel's house afterward. Detectives Rodriguez and Wu conducted a follow-up interrogation of Max Elliott. Confronted with the video evidence, Max was forced to change his story. He admitted that he had lied about his alibi and had indeed been near Rachel's house on the night of the murder. Max offered a new version of events. He claimed that he intended to meet Rachel after the political meeting to discuss their relationship and confess to his affair with Anna. However, when he approached the house, he saw through the window that Rachel wasn't alone. She was talking with Anna. Max said he didn't have the courage to enter and left, unaware of what would happen next. On June 25th, detectives received the results of a reanalysis of the shoe prints found at the crime scene. Among them were prints that matched the size and model of Max's shoes. These prints had previously gone unidentified due to partial overlap with other footprints. The police searched Max's home and discovered a pair of shoes hidden in the garage. Blood traces found on the soles were confirmed to be Rachel's blood. On June 26th, detectives organized a confrontation between Anna and Max facing each other and confronted with the new evidence. Both began accusing each other of the murder. Anna claimed that Max had arrived during her conversation with Rachel and, in a fit of rage, attacked his fiancée. Max, on the other hand, insisted that he found Rachel already dead when he returned to the house later that night and that Anna had confessed to him about the killing. The conflicting testimonies from Anna and Max, along with new evidence placing both at the crime scene, forced detectives to reconsider their theory of what had happened. On June 27th, the police obtained the results of an analysis of phone calls and messages between Anna and Max in the weeks leading up to the murder. While there were no direct mentions of murder, the conversations hinted at a plan to get rid of Rachel. In one message sent by Max to Anna 3 days before the murder, he wrote, "We need to act soon. R is starting to suspect something. Let's meet at the usual place to discuss the details." This message further fueled investigators' suspicions that the murder had been premeditated by both suspects. On June 28th, detectives Rodriguez and Wu presented all the gathered evidence to the Portland District Attorney. After a thorough review of the case, the prosecutor decided to charge both Anna Clark and Max Elliott with first-degree murder. The prosecution's theory was that Anna and Max had conspired to murder Rachel to avoid the scandal that would destroy Max's political career if their affair became public. They had arranged to meet Rachel under the guise of confessing and discussing the situation. But their real intention was to kill her. On June 29th, Max Elliott was arrested at his office. News of his arrest and the charges of murdering his fiancée shocked the Portland community and dealt a severe blow to his political career. This case became one of the most notorious criminal scandals in Portland's history, attracting national media attention. The story of a love triangle, betrayal, and murder in a respectable suburban neighborhood shook the city and sparked widespread discussions about trust, morality, and the dark side of ambition in modern society. In early July 2023, the case of Rachel Thompson's murder took an unexpected turn. Detectives Rodriguez and Wu received an anonymous letter claiming that neither Anna Clark nor Max Elliott were the true killers. The letter hinted at the involvement of a third person directly connected to the crime. Initially, investigators were skeptical, suspecting the letter might be an attempt to mislead them. However, they decided to follow up on the information. The letter mentioned a woman named Sarah Lang, a former employee of the Domestic Violence Center where Rachel had worked. On July 5th, detectives met with Sarah Lang. During the interview, they learned that Sarah had been fired from the center 2 years earlier following a conflict with Rachel. Sarah claimed that Rachel had unfairly accused her of violating client confidentiality, leading to the loss of her job and reputation. Further investigation revealed that after her dismissal, Sarah went through a difficult period, including a divorce and financial problems. She blamed Rachel for the downfall of her life and had made threats against her on social media using fake accounts. On July 7th, police conducted a search of Sarah Lang's apartment. During the search, they discovered newspaper clippings about Rachel and Max, along with a journal containing detailed notes about Rachel's life. This indicated that Sarah had been obsessively following her former colleague for some time. The detectives also found a receipt for the purchase of a kitchen knife identical to the murder weapon, dated June 13th. 1 day before Rachel's death. Forensic analysis revealed Sarah's fingerprints on the receipt. On July 9th, Sarah Lang was brought in for questioning. Under the weight of the evidence, she began to falter in her statements. After several hours of intense interrogation, Sarah suddenly confessed to Rachel's murder. According to Sarah, she had been planning her revenge for a long time. Upon learning about the tensions in Rachel and Max's relationship, she decided to take advantage of the situation. On the night of the murder, Sarah used a spare key, one she had known about from her time working with Rachel, to enter the house. Sarah recounted that she found Rachel alone after Anna had left. An argument quickly escalated into a physical confrontation. In a fit of rage, Sarah grabbed a kitchen knife and stabbed Rachel multiple times. Realizing what she had done, she attempted to stage the scene as a burglary by turning over objects in the house. Sarah's confession explained many of the inconsistencies in Anna and Max's testimonies. Both had indeed been at Rachel's house that night, but they had left before Sarah arrived. Their lies and conflicting statements were attempts to conceal their affair, not their involvement in the murder. On July 11th, police conducted a second examination of the crime scene, taking the new information into account. They discovered previously overlooked evidence that corroborated Sarah's version of events. On July 13th, the Portland District Attorney officially dropped the murder charges against Anna Clark and Max Elliott. Instead, they were charged with perjury and obstruction of justice for their false testimonies during the investigation. Sarah Lang was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Additional charges of stalking and unlawful entry were also brought against her. This shocking turn of events stunned the Portland community. The narrative of revenge, obsession, and tragic circumstance replaced the earlier story of a love triangle and conspiracy. On July 15th, Detectives Rodriguez and Wu held a press conference where they explained the course of the investigation and the new conclusions. They emphasized the importance of not rushing to judgment and thoroughly investigating all leads, even those that initially seem unlikely. Rachel Thompson's case became an example of how personal vendettas and obsession can lead to tragic consequences. It also raised questions about the safety of social service workers and the need for better protections for those who help victims of violence. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new stories that are coming out every day.